Welcome to the next big thing in professional wrestling podcasting. This is Raw Is Gibby with your host, Zachary Gibby. Welcome to the Raw Is Gibby Podcast, coming at you from parts unknown. It's me, it's Zachary Gibby, bringing you the next big thing in wrestling podcasting. Remember that if you like this podcast, to leave a like and subscribe to the Raw Is Gibby YouTube channel. Get up to date on the latest wrestling reviews and news. Don't forget to also leave a comment on the podcast if there is anything you want me to improve on for future podcasts. So today on the Raw Is Gibby podcast, I will be reviewing the June 9th edition of Monday Night Raw and talk about the good and the unbelievably horrible that I stopped watching moments of the show. So we start off with this show with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H's big announcement. Triple H sent out a tweet earlier in the day stating that he was going to make a big announcement at the start of Raw. And everybody just knew from then that Daniel Bryan was not going to be in the WWE title picture, and he would get the belt stripped. Disappointing, but, neck injuries are very hard to, overcome, and so I'm glad they're kind of doing this. But it's so disappointing because Daniel Bryan is probably the only wrestler out there that he's the only wrestler that has never lost to another opponent, really. It's just absolutely disappointing that he can't have good long reigns without something pushing him down. So a lot of stuff happened. Eventually they stripped Daniel Bryan of the belts, and so then they said that the WWE World Heavyweight Championship would be on the line at Money in the Bank, which sounds more exciting than a stretcher match against Kane. Anything sounds better than a stretcher match with Kane. But this was an interesting announcement to start off the show, and it segued into The Shield, talking about Seth Rollins' betrayal of The Shield, which was unbelievable, but it's not very smart turn when you think about it storyline-wise, but the surprise factor was definitely there. But it's interesting that Triple H is showing a lot of support for Seth Rollins, and it's going to be an interesting feud moving forward between Evolution and The Shield. And this was the part of the show where they said that there would be a 6-man tag match and that there would be a mystery partner for The Shield going up against the Wyatt family. So moving on to the next segment, which is the first match of the evening, which was the Money in the Bank qualifier between Sheamus and Bad News Barrett. This was a very, very good match, and probably the best match on Raw. And it was just an awesome match to kick off the show. Sheamus and Bad News Barrett have great chemistry. And as I said before, if you check out Trash Fan City's YouTube channel, I stated in the Monday Night Raw review, I believe, how underrated Sheamus is compared to other wrestlers, and how important he is to WWE. Because we like bash him for him being a Triple H guy, but it's amazing the wrestling he does, and he should definitely be back in the main event scene, in my opinion. But personally, in this match, I wanted to see Bad News Barrett win, just because I feel like it would give more unpredictability in the match, the Money in the Bank match. And but we had Sheamus coming out on top here. Great match. I read a tweet saying that the people that boo Sheamus at the beginning are the same people that chant "This is awesome" during the match, which is so true for Sheamus. But definitely a really good match to start off the show, and just all around, just Barrett and Sheamus have great chemistry, and it's just really good to watch, and Sheamus should definitely be pushed a bit more within WWE. So the next match we have was Zack Ryder versus Rusev, and this is where, in my opinion, the show started to take a little bit of a downhill. We had Zack Ryder coming out in some very cool trunks, but eventually we had Rusev coming out and beating up Ryder. This does not make any sense whatsoever. I mean, Rusev went from Biggie Langston, and then who was definitely a mid-card guy, and then all of a sudden he goes back to a jobber status against Zack Ryder. Does that mean Biggie Langston is a jobber? I don't think so. So why is Rusev facing Zack Ryder? It doesn't make any sense. And this match wasn't good at all, in my opinion. It was just Ryder trying to have a comeback, and then all of a sudden get his butt whipped by Rusev. And people are saying that Rusev is getting over. I don't think Rusev is getting over. I think Lana is getting over more than Rusev. And that's the only thing that's really keeping Rusev relevant. Because Rusev is not speaking English. And so why should the fans care if the wrestler can't even speak English? I did not like this match. It was just not a very good match. Obviously squash match. But it doesn't make sense that you go for Biggie Langston, solid mid-card guy who I think could definitely be in the world title picture in the future, to Zack Ryder, who's jobber status right now. It's absolutely confusing, and I don't understand why they did that. So the next segment of the match, of Raw, was Goldust and R-Truth versus Ryback and Curtis Axel. This was a match. It was probably, in fact, now that I think about it, it was probably worse than that match beforehand. It was just not good. I'm not understanding these partners being picked for Goldust right now. I know that they're in, Cody and Goldust are in kind of like, Cody's not turned heel yet, but it's kind of like Goldust searching for his new tag team partner, and Cody Rhodes just trying to help out. It's kind of been lazy. Maybe because these partners aren't really they're not going to work. If they were more interesting partners, I don't know, maybe you have, really, who can you pair up with Goldust, really, that can be a suitable partner? I mean, you can't thrust a tag partner in there and expect people to take it seriously as a new tag team. There has to be some sort of previous history between Goldust and someone else. So this kind of booking is not making sense to me. Ryback won again. It's just, and I'm tired of seeing matches being won with a schoolboy pin. I mean, I understand the cheap heel gimmicks and all that, but there's too many of that, and I don't like it. And that's what's the problem with the heels right now. So I don't really like it. It was just very slow, and it wasn't a good match. Probably worse than a squash match, if you could believe that. But yeah, it wasn't a very good match. And so moving on, 3MB and the Shield. I thought this was going to be an even bigger downhill, but then Dean Ambrose got on the mic and cut the best promo on Raw. Definitely a great promo, showing the ferocity of the Shield, just absolutely demolishing everybody, and Reigns delivering a nasty spear. Too bad the cameraman missed that. It was a very good segment, and you could tell the anger in Ambrose's eyes just after being betrayed last week. And it was a great promo, and Reigns held his own in the promo too, but Ambrose really stole the spotlight and showed his wonderful mic skills, and is just a great talent to have, and will definitely be a future star in the WWE. So yeah, this was a great match, or segment, sorry, and definitely the promo just blew everybody away. And it really brought some new life into the Evolution Shield line. If the turn didn't bring any new life into it, which I would be surprised if it didn't, but it just kept the fire going in that feud, and that's why it's going so well right now. So yeah, great segment, probably the best promo of the show. Then we go to the match, which I have ranted on Twitter. I hate this match. The Usos versus Fandango and Damien Sandow. Damien Sandow came out in a full body suit of latex. This does not make any sense whatsoever. Damien Sandow is the best, one of the best, if not the best mic worker in WWE. And this is how you're treating him. He was your world heavyweight champion, Money in the Bank holder. Okay? And you made him lose to Super Cena with one arm. One arm Cena had in that match, and you still made him lose. And now you have him in the bottom of the barrel. Why did you give him the Money in the Bank briefcase if this is how you're going to push him moving forward? It does not make sense at all. It's stupid. I did not like this match at all. First of all, pairing somebody with Fandango, pairing Damien Sandow of all people with Fandango is a joke. And the fact that you put the Usos, who are a credible tag team, against Fandango and Damien Sandow is absolutely humiliating. This is humiliating. It made me sad to be a wrestling fan. And I may be overstating it, but that just, I hated this match. This was brutal. I hated this match. I don't like what they're doing with Sandow. This was just awful. The Usos have been, one of the great bright spots in WWE, and you put them in this stupid comedy angle, which was not funny at all, and you have Sandow just dancing around in his full body latex. What happened to that promo that Sandow did on the Raw pre-show? Are we going to mention that? Isn't he mad about not getting his chance in WWE, and isn't he mad about getting dressed up in stupid costumes? So why is he in a full body latex, WWE? Why? This is stupid. If this was 1982, and I said this in a tweet, if this was 1982, WWE would not be pulling stunts like this. They should be lucky that they are the number one wrestling company and that TNA is a failing business. No matter what people will say, TNA is failing. And Ring of Honor is not really at that peak yet to be a competitor. Global Force Wrestling is unknown. So WWE, you can't just be silly and do stupid stuff like that with Damien Sandow. Just, what a terrible match. I've never been so mad at something in my entire life. This was awful. Absolutely awful. This almost made me turn off the show. And I know it may have been an overreaction, but come on. Damien Sandow in full latex. The Reggie Miller Indiana Pacers one, okay, it was a little silly. But latex? Like a full latex suit? Come on, WWE. You have so much better options for Sandow. If you're not going to put him as a wrestler, make him a manager. I don't know. Do something with Sandow. Just don't put him on the Raw pre-show. All right. Rant is over. You've heard my thoughts. I don't want to talk about this anymore. Xavier Woods versus Bo Dallas. So wonderful. Another underpushed talent in WWE getting put over by Bo Dallas. Bo Dallas's finisher sucks. Bodog, it's not good. It's a ripoff of Trish Stratus's Stratisfaction. It's just no. If Bo Dallas can't do the same thing week after week after week, there has to be more depth into his character. It's stupid. Okay? It's just, you had Xavier Woods getting beat by Bo Dallas. I can't believe, if you're not going to put Xavier Woods into something relevant when you call him up, don't call him up. There's a reason you have NXT. So Bo Dallas won with a Bodog, establishing more of his character. We went from Bo Dallas beating Kofi Kingston and Sin Cara, established superstars on the mid-card, to Xavier Woods, who I guess we can assume now is in the lower mid-card, even maybe jobber status. And that's how you're going to put over your talent. Just go from mid-card to lower mid-card. That's exactly what you're going to do, just like you did with Ryback. Good for you. Next match was the Money in the Bank qualifier, Rob Van Dam versus Cesaro. This was disappointing. This was massively disappointing. It's just that Rob Van Dam and Cesaro do not have that chemistry. They've tried and tried and tried and tried time after time after time to try and get these guys to build chemistry, but they don't have any chemistry. This match was not good. This was not a good match. It was not good. I didn't like this match at all. They have no chemistry, like none. I mean, they had better matches before this. And it just shows, like, you know what, WWE, maybe they don't have chemistry. Maybe they're not entertaining together. Okay? So maybe you should stop pairing them up every single week on Raw. Okay? Okay. So Cesaro won. This was the Money in the Bank qualifier. So Cesaro made it to Money in the Bank. He's my pick to win the World Heavyweight Championship, WWE World Heavyweight Championship. I'd be surprised if it'd be someone else. But yeah, it's either going to be Cesaro or maybe Sheamus, but I doubt Sheamus would win it. Definitely not Del Rio, and definitely not Orton. But I guess we'll see from the other Money in the Bank qualifiers. This match was not good. Don't watch this match. This was not Rob Van Dam and Cesaro's best match. And they have no chemistry. Let's just be honest. They've tried. There's no chemistry between them. So the next segment we had brought everything back up a bit, and then at the end of this segment, I left because I thought this was getting too stupid. Michael Cole introduced Seth Rollins, who made his way to the ring with some cool new theme music, and he came in with a suit just like Evolution. He called Ambrose and Reigns business partners, and then suddenly the Wyatt family appeared, and the beatdown of Reigns and Ambrose ensued. This was an interesting segment. This was not as good as Ambrose's promo, but it still got the job done for Seth Rollins. And then they announced the mystery partner, and that was John Cena. Because apparently John Cena needs to fully beat Bray Wyatt in order to cement his legacy. No more John Cena, Bray Wyatt. The feud was great. The matches were The last man standing match was great until the end. But it's time to put it down now. If you're going to put Bray Wyatt if you want to make Bray Wyatt your top heel, build him up as your top heel. And don't let him face Cena. If you don't want Cena to lose, don't put him against Cena. It doesn't help at all. Cena is still the top babyface of the company. Don't put him against Cena if you know he's going to lose. That's what happened to Ryback. That's what happened to almost Daniel Bryan, almost CM Punk. That's what happened to Kane. That's what happened to Zack Ryder, even though that was part of the Kane storyline. That happened to so many people, okay, that he beats. That happened to Brock Lesnar, although Brock Lesnar was able to recover. But don't do that, alright? No more of Cena and Wyatt, okay? No more. So when I heard that, I'm like, you know what? No, I'm done. I turned off the TV afterwards and was like, no, I can't take this anymore. This show is just as bad as last week's show. In my opinion, of course. But the interview with Rollins was really good. He explained his actions all right. There's still a little bit of plot holes in it, but you know, I think WWE Creative is trying to get everybody to forget about. WWE is trying to get the WWE fans not to think about those plot holes. So solid interview. It wasn't as great as Ambrose's promo, but it got the job done. But then I just turned it off when they said Cena was going to be the mystery partner because I was done at that point. And so the matches I missed and I watched on the Raw replay were Paige versus Alicia Fox again. Wonderful. Just what we wanted again. It was, when I saw it, it was not too bad. It was something I've seen before, so it wasn't really anything that great. It was just, you know, I just wish they could bring back the badass persona of Paige. Because when she was booked in NXT, there was a reason why people cheered for her in NXT. Because she was awesome, alright? So awesome things with her. Don't put her up as the underdog now. She's now Divas Champion for how long? Extreme Rules, Payback, almost 3 months now, okay? So I think it's time to break away from that character and start developing her into that top diva that she can be, alright? Let's do that, okay? Alright. So this match was alright. It was just the same stuff we've seen before. So, yeah, it was nothing special. Alicia Fox didn't really break out. She did. And Fox did break out, and that was against Oksana. I'm not going to explain too much about why Oksana was there, because frankly, I didn't really care. But yeah, this was an okay match. And then apparently I missed Santino Marella versus Jack Swagger. Yay me. When I watched this match on the replay, Santino Marella actually lost, which made me so glad to see. And then he lost from the gut wrench powerbomb. But if this is going to ignite a feud between Marella and Swagger, then Zeb Coulter has no business being Swagger's manager anymore. Coulter deserves a lot better than that. Coulter probably needs to find a new guy to not replace Swagger, but maybe be the tag team again. But yeah, it was short, and I'm just glad to see that Santino Marella didn't beat Jack Swagger, thank God. So the final match in the segment was the John Cena and the Shield versus the Wyatt family match. Now, considering the 6-man tag team matches they've had before, I came in this one with high expectations, and I was a little bit disappointed, but it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be. It's just that there was a weird moment in the match where Cena did the hot tag and did all the moves, and then it turned out not to be over, and it actually went on for 8 minutes, and I thought that was a little bit confusing, and I felt it was unnecessary. And then Reigns just kind of cleaned house and finished up this match. This was an alright match. Not the best match of the night, but definitely not the worst match either. So yeah, it was not. It was an alright main event, but I'm wondering where they're gonna go now with Cena. It's just gonna be interesting what they do here. Alright, so that's the review of Monday Night Raw. My final thoughts. I hated the Sandow segment. I'm sure you found that out already. But I just despised it with everything that I had. It was just so bad. I didn't like it at all. But that didn't really hinder the show. This show was better than last week's show, but that's not saying much. Last week's show, I think I gave it like a 2.5 out of 5 or something like that. I'm going to give this one a 2.75 out of 5 because I didn't think this show was that much better. The match between Sheamus and Barrett was really, really good, and the Ambrose promo was really, really good, but it started to reroute back to last week's Raw, which you could find at Trash Fan City's YouTube channel, where I did the review with him and Craig Garific on Twitter. You can also find him there. So, all in all, this was not a great Raw to top the last week's Raw, and I hope they do some better stuff here for Raw. So, it was a 2.75 out of 5 for me. Didn't think it was all that great. So, yeah, that was my review for Raw. You'll go into a bit of news and rumors briefly, and then I'll end off the video. So obviously with now Daniel Bryan being out, there's rumors that he may be able to come back for SummerSlam and face Brock Lesnar. Hopefully that happens. I'm very much looking forward to Daniel Bryan Brock Lesnar match. But apparently his status is kind of a little bit iffy too. So it's going to be interesting what they're going to do with Daniel Bryan's injury. It's obviously I'm saying this too when the WWE Championship is vacant, but it'll be interesting to see what they're going to do. Apparently Bryan and Lesnar are still in the books So maybe it's not for the title. I don't know. I guess we'll see. It's going to be interesting, So I guess we'll see at SummerSlam what they're going to do. Also, apparently Ric Flair is passed his medical test and may return soon. To return to be the manager for The Miz. Wrong person to manage. Wrong person. It has to be Dolph Ziggler. And I know all the fans are saying that, but it's true. He has to be with Dolph Ziggler. Ziggler and Flair share so much characteristics more than The Miz. And I know that Flair gave Miz the figure 4 leg lock, even though nobody really cares. It's just, oh man, poor Ziggler. I mean, if you want to see what I thought, if you want to hear, what I think WWE should do with Dolph Ziggler, you can find the link in the description where consider ideas for what WWE should do with Dolph Ziggler. So definitely check that out. But yeah, I'm going to end it off there. Thank you for listening to the Raw Is Gibby podcast. If you like this podcast, leave a like and subscribe to the Raw Is Gibby YouTube channel. Please give me any comments you want on how I can improve the podcast. That'll be much graded. You can follow me on Twitter at Raw Is Gibby, and you can find me on Facebook too under the same name. So thank you for listening to the Raw Is Gibby podcast, and I hope you all have a good day. Gibby out.